I would like, on behalf of Wista Hellas, to welcome you all here today with us. It's an honor to have a full house on a subject that is deeply in our heart, and we think it's about time we start discussing about it. This event would not have happened if we didn't have the support of ABS with their sponsorship and their excellent moderator, Ms. Maria Kiratsou. I will not say much. I hope after the discussion with this panel you might have some questions you need to ask, and we hope we touch gently and we move forward. Thank you so much. Maria Kiratsou will take over, and thank you so much, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, Elby, for the nice introduction. I'm very happy that I see a lot of people here. I will start with a general statement that there is ample evidence that investing in women is the most effective way to lift communities, companies, and even countries. Countries with more gender equality have better economic growth. Companies with more women leaders perform better. IMO is strongly committed to helping its member states achieving the United Nations 2030 agenda, and specifically Goal 5 for achieving gender equality and empower all women and girls. So, the evidence is clear. Equality for women means progress for all. IMO has facilitated the creation of professional networks to improve gender balance in the shipping industry in more than 150 countries. Now, from the S point of view, ABS is proud to support this initiative and the opportunity to recognize and celebrate the many women at ABS who are making and will continue to make very real and valuable contributions to our company and to the maritime industry. Whether that's surveyors, engineers, technology, business development, supporting members, those participating in IMO initiatives and every other role across our company, our female colleagues bring unique perspectives and strengths to ABS and to the industry. And while we know there is still a gender imbalance in maritime, there is no doubt that diversity in the industry benefits all. I feel great honor being the moderator of this panel with this specific subject that, as Elby mentioned before, is a little bit sensitive subject, but I like that we are touching it right now. And also having all the distinguished panel members here with us. I will start with the introduction. First of all, it's Mr. Euggenidis, who is the chairman of Euggenidis Foundation and IMO Goodwill Maritime Ambassador for Greece with us. Instead of Mr. Pateras, it's the Vice President of Hellenic Chamber of Shipping, Mr. George Alexandratos. We have Mrs. Gina Darsaklis, who is Master Mariner from Olympic Shipping and Management. We have Captain Michael Fotinos, Crew Manager from Diana Shipping. Ms. Vivi Koliopoulou, who is the Insurance and Claims Manager for Angelikousis Group. And last but not least, Mr. Kees, let me check, Holvers, who is the Managing Director of Wageborg Crew Management. Thank you very much for participating here. I would like to start with a question to Mr. Euggenidis. Mr. Euggenidis, which do you think are the two main factors behind the slow advancement of women in seafaring careers? Let's assume that there is a slow advancement of women seafaring in their career, or not? What do you think?
A relative question with a relative answer. First of all, the good news is that if we take Greek lady seafarers, we are more or less matching Norway, and we're only lagging behind UK. So Greece has already made substantial moves towards that direction over the last years. I think we're living in a changing environment. Personally, because I believe in that men and women are equal, I always have some doubts whether we make something special to recognize something which is self-understood. And women in maritime profession, be it woman or be it man, you have the question whether the person is suitable and you have a good system to accommodate. So I think a lot of steps were done. We should not see things in a dogmatic way. I mean, we have to learn by experience, we have to adjust into realities, and I think all the world is slowly recognizing even more and more that as a part of a holistic approach which is required in order to address all shipping challenges, particularly of the environment, decarbonization and so on and so forth, it is a part of the process also women to find the right pace. I don't think the situation is dramatic. Much more has to be done, but not by force.
Right, thank you very much. I don't know whether Mrs. Kolopoulou would like to comment something on this. What's her view?
I agree that there has been progress in the last few years, but the problem has deeper roots, and it has to do with the way the society is structured. So we live in a society which is based on patriarchy, and this is something which has to do with the way. You don't agree? Well, it's debatable. So I think the problem is deeper, and it has to be addressed from the early years with proper education which enforces the standards of gender diversity. It's not affecting just the seafaring profession, it is something affecting everyone. And on top of that, we have to admit that the seafaring profession is quite demanding. I do recall that in Greece, until the beginning of the financial crisis, there were very few boys and girls who were interested in pursuing a career at sea. And then all of a sudden, because all the other options were limited, there was a shift in that direction, which is always welcome. But the reason for this hesitant approach was the specific circumstances that seafarers have to deal with in their day-to-day lives, and also the very demanding processes they have to follow, the regulatory issues that they might be dealing with at different ports across the globe. Another example might be piracy, and what people on board have been facing on their day-to-day lives.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving forward, I would like to ask Mr. Fotinos, when did you start recruiting women seafarers? And what was the main factor influencing your decision to apply gender diversity on board?
Well, we have discussion with our management, let's say 12 years ago. I think we are maybe one of the first shipping companies that we have tried to choose and to select women.
Both masters as well as engineers?
Yes, any kind. That time we starting with few cadets. As far as I remember, we have given the opportunity more than 300 women to apply to our company. Of course, the today result is not an optimist. We have still today 40 women on our fleet. Until to port captain, I have 4 captain women in operation department, which is starting from us. We have a lot of chief officer, we have second engineer. We give the opportunities, but I'm not let's say optimist on the side from the side of the women. I believe that a lot of women, they are choosing to go to the academies in order to follow another profession later on. For example, they choose to go to Coast Guard, some shipping offices. I mean, when they just reach the first diploma, the first certificate, they are leaving. Of course, they are not only their force. Shipping companies also, they must give them the opportunity to go on. The 70% of the shipping company, they are not taking women. This is a high percentage. I mean, I don't know, and I don't know, maybe they have their own reasons. We try to support that program, and I have the management which is support to me to follow up. And till today, we are very fine on this, and we're still optimistic for better days and more women crew. we don't have any problems so far. I believe that coming better days. Of course, there is. I like to have a woman on board. First, of course, it's a beauty of the vessel. Okay, it's clear. Secondly, they are organized. They are more organized than the men. It's clear that they can fix paper for the vessel. They can organize the port duties. They organize the voyage planning. They are more organized than the men. Okay, I'm a captain. I know the job, but it's clear that the women, because in order to survive in this kind of profession, you must be very good. I mean, the women are also very good. And in the other hand, when you just go to the port, a pilot come on board and chief officer or master woman, first surprise, but after respect. It's a good thing for us.
So you believe that mentality is not an issue?
We have to work on this.
We have to work.
Yes, we have to work, because we have also some old states seamen we didn't accept yet a woman on board. We have also something that have to fix it.
Mr. Eugenides would like to say, comment something on this.
Well, I fully share this attitude that, as I said before, we need a holistic and open-minded approach. We should not see through dogmas and doctrines. As IMO ambassador, I've been through all over Greece and we've spoken to women being at school or even women marine academies and so on and so forth. Greek shipping industry, like shipping industry, what needs is seafarers and needs a lifetime career. My personal point of view is that you cannot take things by force. For women, I've spoken with women on board, you cannot have a general rule. It is, you need an open mind, a holistic approach, you need leadership, training, preparation, awareness, to give the conditions, and then if she can retain, yes, but should not be dogmatic. So it's not a bad thing for ladies pursuing a career at sea with all the advantages they have on board, and I fully share their views, the mind, the way of thinking, the organization, the personality, but just like men. Not all men are fit for this job, not all women. And also they should have the flexibility and the options, because many women would like to follow to a career up to a certain point, and then to go in land. I don't think it's necessarily bad. It's a win-win, it's a holistic approach, as I said before. We need an open mind in a changing world. We have now new MLC coming into force. All the world is acknowledging things, but you need an open mind. You should not go politically, you should go realistically with good communications.
Thank you very much for your comment. Same question also with respect to the recruitment of the women seafarers. Go to Mr. Case Horvers. I don't know. Sorry for the
yeah, that's not so easy to pronounce the name. I'm sorry for that, but you know, it was given to me by my parents. Yeah. The thing with this question about the main, how you call it, the main issues, the main items.
I cannot hear you.
You don't hear me?
Now yes.
Okay, so it has to go a little bit closer.
Yes.
Better like this?
Yes.
Okay, better like this. The main thing with the issue with the with the women on board of the ships, you know, the two major problems there are, for one, how to say this very simple. It starts already at let's say on secondary schooling. You know, the seagoing career is a career which is based on technique. So it's a technical job by nature. This means who wants to go to technical jobs? The one who are interested in the technical jobs. And there, by nature, you see still today a majority of male versus female interested candidates. So whatever we do, whether we force it or we enthusiast it, we have to deal with the fact that it works like that, that most probably whatever you do, in the end of the day, on the maritime academies, on the maritime schools, the girls will still be outnumbered by the boys, to put it like that. So, equality, let's say you have a ship of 10 people, of which 5 are female and 5 are male, that should require that the educational system goes the same, and that's already a challenge in its own. So we really challenge there, you know, to find full equality on board, actually. That's still a thing. However, having said that, on the other side, if you look into us as a company, what we did and what we do already for many years, is that we select on competences, on how you call it, competences, education. So this means we don't look into it like whether or not it's a boy or a girl, or a male or a female, or a man or wife. It's about competences, it's about education, it's about motivation, of course. Those are the things. And by that, you find the right candidate.
Okay, I agree with you.
So,
that makes the difference, the gender, as long as he is motivated, he or she is motivated.
He or she?
He or she has the proper skills, the proper behavioral competencies.
Yeah, correct, I put it always very simple. For us it's all the same, whether or not it's a he or a she or something in between. It's about performance in the end of the day.
Correct, thank you very much. Just with respect to the motivation that you have just mentioned before, I would like to ask our Master Mariner here, what is your experience from your seafaring careers, and whether there are any particular challenges? And on the motivational part, did you have any specific motivations? Did you receive any specific training? Somebody who guided you, just stand you over the shoulder, telling you what to do or not to do?
One by one. I will tell you everything. Just grab a coffee. I'm start talking. So, do you hear me? Yes. So, initially I want to thank Wista, Mrs. Petracki, and the board for inviting me and being present in this panel with this distinguished person from Greece and from Europe. And I want to mention something that nobody said, that women seafarers are only represent 1.2% as per BIM, 1.5? Okay, as per BIMCO and ICS. I'm a woman. I am one step ahead of you. So, this number, it's about 24,059 women working on board. I repeat the number, 24,005 women, including me and the three in they are here. So I want to give them an applause. I want to have a comment also in the first question regarding the slow advancement of women. There are many reasons. There is bias, there is harassment. Sad but true, but we need to say truth. It's between us, the Greek shipping industry, the leaders. So there is lack of access in the social network, and this leads to lack of access in the companies. Sorry, Mr. Judge.
I like
And there are also some issues relating to the work balance and family restrictions. The main reason is the difficulty to access a company. I mean that when the people, male or female, they are in the Merchant Maritime Academy, they need to do the apprenticeships. But without the proper network, they cannot do the job, they cannot work, so they cannot get their certificate. So we need to open the doors to all the people, either woman, either male, either black, either white. We should be open. We need to have diversity and inclusion, because all this will gonna lead to a creation of something unique and innovation for the companies, because we are in 2022, not in 1952. We need to move ahead. So personally, as a woman who invests at her career, and I will invest in my career, advancement and excellence, I have to say the truth, and we have to admit it. Women are also having one more limitation, maternity. Yes or no?
Yes.
But this
is not a limitation. It's not necessarily a limitation, I would say.
This is a limitation for a woman on board for certain shipping companies, because they, because the women, like the two young ladies here, they are still in Merchant Maritime Academy, they don't know their maternity rights. They don't know that they should not abandon their work to become a mother, and they should not abandon the motherhood to work. There is a balance, and they need to know that, so they will have they will do the career that they are dreamed, to be captain, chief engineer or electrician. There are many things that you can do on board, even if you are in a passenger or another type. I'm sorry I'm shaking, it's my first time. Be a little bit resilient.
Have you commented something about the motivation that
Not yet. I didn't say anything about the challenges.
Okay.
I just like an intro.
I like intros.
So, regarding the challenges, we all have different jobs here, but all of them they have a set of challenges. Yes or no? Yes. So imagine that seafarer career to being a male-dominated industry for so many years. It is unique, and it has unique and unusual challenges, especially for women. So everyone, no matter if it is male, female, or everything, we are open. Before choosing the profession of shipping, should be prepared mentally, physically, and emotionally to survive. This is my advice. And then, if you are prepared, you will find the proper mentors, but you need to have time. Because one of the most difficult and the foremost challenge that I had, it was in my first ship as a cadet, some years ago. I don't say my age. No way. So it was very difficult to being accepted as a part of the team. It took some time, but if you insist, if you are present, and if you are taking initiatives, finally they will accept you. This is my point of view. And then you will find the proper professionals, so they will guide you accordingly, and they will be the role models that you need, because we don't have proper role models yet in shipping. I'm sorry.
I find this quite a heavy statement regarding the role models in shipping.
Because now it's starting. It's not, back in 2007 when I started,
Seafarers.
Yes.
Seafarers.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Now it's starting.
Okay. Mr. Eυγενidis would like something to comment before I go to Mr. Alexandratos.
Thank you. No, going back to your question about the company's policies and when the company started to recruit seafarers, women seafarers. I think that the Angelikousis group was among the first ones to break stereotypes. And women seafarers were recruited as early as 2005.
I will make a correction. The first woman captain was in Olympic captain Sulava Burakio 1990.
That's why I referred among the first.
Mariana, and she was also in Inusa's school. But it was just a few, exactly. It's just a few individuals. And we didn't have access back then. Now the people have access now.
I fully agree with you.
Let's.
I think that what people had in mind back then was that by accepting women, they had an access to a bigger pool of talent.
Okay.
And I fully agree with the other speakers that meritocracy is the key point. One has to judge every candidate on the basis of the qualifications, the skills, and of course the behavior, because that's quite important as well. What I think is more encouraging, and I think this is touching upon the point about mentorship within our group, is that there is visibility in terms of female role models, because we have a woman CEO and numerous women in prominent managerial positions. But there is an awareness that there needs to be a whole network to support women seafarers, starting from the early stages and then throughout their career, and probably when they are in need of maternity leave. Because you have to invest in people in the long term. So options are given to women who want to become mothers, and they can transfer ashore for a period of time. And if they so wish, because as Mr. Eugenides said, it's a matter of personal choice whether you want to continue your career on board, they can go back on board. But I think this underlines the fact that companies need to have processes in place, as well as processes to support the choices of women, as well as processes to support no tolerance policies against unacceptable behaviors.
Totally agree with that.
Thank you.
I want to comment, Mr. Eugenides.
Very briefly, Mrs. Koliopou covered my second part of the intervention. The first point, because I don't separate, although I'm a minority in this room, I'm very happy to be a minority. I don't feel harassed, I feel very happy among so many challenging and strong personalities, ladies, is that definitely the world is changing. I mean, you see in leadership and in entrepreneurship and in the companies the evolution of women, so for me it's a non-issue. As I said before, holistic approach. The reason I interfere here is that I want to repeat once more, because it has been mentioned the question of the training, the two sandwich courses. It's my stereotypical reply that is the least obligation of the Greek seaborne family not to make an issue for the training of the cadets. I find inexcusable, almost penal, of not taking the responsibility of without friends, and it's not a question of gender, to find the barcode. I find inappropriate, and credit to the companies who do it, discredit to the ones who they don't do it. It's not a matter of gender. So we need equality and we need an equal way of thinking. Let's not make differentiation. We are not competing. The paths they are opening. And after all, in Norway, which is a country which in the question of empowering women has been so much advanced, we have in Greece at least as many women at sea as many in Norway. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Alexandratos. What about the Hellenic Chamber of Shipping? What are the evolutions? What Hellenic Chamber of Shipping believes about this? How they see the way forward? And what are the pros and the cons that you see from women on board?
Okay, thank you very much. I think two questions. We shall have also a second reply afterwards, correct? Not tell everything. So, ladies, and a couple of gentlemen, good day to you. First of all, I would like very much to congratulate, not only for today's seminar, but for all the work and all the contribution that Wista has at the shipping cluster, and congratulate in person President Michelle Petracki, members of board directors, and the staff of Wista for having that track record. Applause. So it's difficult for me to speak last for two reasons. First of all, a lot of things by more experienced people have been covered, because I'm lucky to sit between two masters. Female master, I don't disclose you, although I know how many years she's a master, because she doesn't want to disclose her age, but with a couple of years master, and master 40 years. There's no problem. And the difficulty is that I'm not a seafarer. So I will try to be as much short as possible. Subject today's topic is women at sea. And yesterday that Dr. George Pateras called me urgently because he had another commitment, he apologized for that. We always support, as Greek Chamber of Shipping, not only by the auspices, but with action immediate, your work as Wista. So yesterday I started to make some notes, and I said, if we change the word sea with the letters EA to be EE. So the point is, we see and we foresee the women at sea. That's the question. So spontaneously, as I am from Kefaloni Island, the answer is yes. Because as my father, and I have to say a small parenthesis for that, because we have to be emotional, Mr. Leonidas Dimitriadis Eugενidis, is we are lucky to have in shipping personalities being involved in that top positions, because we have emotion. And he always remembers my father and all people that passed away, and that is praise for the past. So thank you very much, Mr. Leonidas. And why I said that? Because my father was telling me that no is on the table, yes has to be claimed. So we have to change yes. Now, of course, yes, subject that state, governmental institutions, ship owners, women want that to happen. And subject, of course, the circumstances which are under our control, not beyond control. And if they prevail, they will ease and allow that to happen. Now, about Greek Chamber of Shipping. What's our role? We are the official advisor of the state. We represent all sectors of the Greek maritime field. We have close to 26,000 floating members. And what is our aim? Is to contribute to the maritime improvement in Greece, as well as to the improvement of Greek economy through the maritime sector. Now, I was searching yesterday with, of course, the assistance of the staff of the Greek Chamber of Shipping, and I think we are pioneers, because from our staff, 66% are women. And I wonder if there is any other organization that their staff belongs 66% share and their employees women. Now, to be realistic, if we are optimistic or not, yes, it's true. We have about 1.5% women at sea, globally. But also, we have to compare what has happened in the last years. So from the last years I searched yesterday, we have, since 2015 up to today, that we have 24,000, we have 46% increase of the percentage of women occupied at sea. So, I haven't translated that word, αλλά και κρόπορτα έχει ανοίξει. So, comparing to the last 7 years, we are 46% more. Of course, we owe a lot to the Coast Guard, because they have absolute priority, and for the graduates of Maritime Merchant Academy, they immediately care for their recruitment. Important is to mention also that at the Hellenic Chamber of Shipping, we have at our exhibition slot, we have marine cadets and women from Maritime Academy in Indra. And I have to may take your allowance, instead from me saving 1 minute, to introduce you in front of your eyes two live examples for the future of tomorrow. We foresee women at sea, and introduce you with a very big applause. Ladies, please come, don't be stressed. Tomorrow you will have a lot of more beautiful capabilities. So, Mrs. Katerina Nemtsa and Mrs. Thekla Trikalliotis. So, let me allow Mrs. Kirachoudi for 30 seconds each, just to say hello and whatever you want in front of this nice audience, and ready to hear you.
Well, all I can say, and I believe I'm speaking for myself and from Miss Katerina and from anyone that is starting in Mesa Marine Academy as a female, is that we don't have many opportunities. And that's the real thing. We don't have, as female cadets, many opportunities to find a job. Many companies deny us because we are women, we're young women, because of the maternity things that we have. And hopefully someday we have more opportunities, more women, and probably more captains like Captain Sina. Hopefully. Thank you very much.
Katerina, έλα Ελίνα φώνεσαι, 30 seconds. Ωραία. What I have to tell you and disclose you, although we have spoken off the record, is that Thekla and Katerina went on their own. They were not encouraged so much by their parents, but went their own because they want to foresee women at sea. Thank you very much, ladies, for everything.
If you don't have a voyage ready, I would involve.
Το είχα στο επόμενο αυτό που διαβάζετε το λόγο. Έλεγα να ζητήσετε κάτι. Μπράβο. Μπράβο. Το είχα στο επόμενο. Αυτό ήθελα να πω. I had that now, okay, the applause have finished. Give your business cards. No, I didn't save 12 minutes. I saved 2 jobs. That's it. Bravo, bravo. Thank you very much. At the second part, I will tell you all the rest. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for this nice speech. Just a question now for Mr. Horvers. What do you believe that they are the 2 main benefits from gender diversity on board?
Well, to answer that question is quite simple. The first one is numbers. Because if you ignore women on board, or women in any job for that matter, you ignore 50% of labor potential. It's as simple as it is. That's one big benefit which we tend to forget. That's one. So the second one, the second benefit of diversity on board is that what we see in our company, and I will tell you what nationalities, what female nationalities we have on board. I do it in alphabetical order. We have females from China, France, Great Britain, Lithuania, Netherlands, Philippines, Russia, Ukraine, and next to come, Vietnam. So what brings this us? We started this kind of projects already many years ago, because even when I started 20 years ago with our company, already we had female cadets, so there's nothing new there for us. Still, we challenge, to increase the numbers. That's the challenge which we also discuss here. But the point is, if you have diversity on board of your ships, this softens the atmosphere and the way it's working. It creates a better working atmosphere, in all honesty, actually, to tell the truth. So that is the secondary big benefit.
Thank you. Mrs. Koloboulou, what do you think about this? You have already several female. What do you believe that
I couldn't agree more. I think that it's not just a matter of gender diversity, it's a matter of diversity. If you have different nationalities and people coming from different socio-economical backgrounds, then you get a different perspective and you get to develop a more collaborative approach. And this, I think, should be translated as an enhanced social and relationship capital for every company. It's an asset and it should not be underestimated.
Yes, Gina, please.
So I would like to add something from a practical way, because I work on ships and the ladies work and working. When we have diversity on board, and it's no matter if it's male, female, black, white, religion, cultures, we are all mixed up. But the practical way that Captain Fotino said, it is that our ultimate duty is to take the ship from the point A to the point B, with safely, period. No more, no less. No matter if you are woman or man. Your job is to transfer the cargo from the point A to point B. That's all.
Okay, just a question on this. You've mentioned before that that you see sometimes while you're on board the vessel that there are some issues with respect to the harassment and things like this. Okay, you just said it before. Do you believe that if there will be more women, and just that will bring a balance? Because now I assume that you are referring to two people.
Yeah, not really. Since I started my career back in 2007, I had 3 more women on board, and the 2 of them were from Philippines. So I had to also adapt their culture and the way of speaking, talking, and to understand. So also it was vice versa. We need to understand that there will be, even if you are one woman or maybe a man with something different, maybe you don't have hair, or maybe the one eye will be blue and the other will be black. We should not discriminate that. If one person is choosing to do this work, it's choosing because he or she is an ambitious person, has some targets to become chief engineer or captain. We don't care if he's not tall, not beautiful, or if he's a woman or man. We care about the human, and we should criticize and eliminate the harassment on that. And this starts from the office. The office should have the policy that does not allow the senior personnel of the ship to make command in the policy of the company, meaning that a master cannot deny in a company that it is taking women to take a woman on board the ship that he's under command. We understand that we have lack of good master and chief engineers and chief officers, but they don't have the right to say, I don't want Gina, Maria, or Sofia because she's a woman. Because we are a workforce that we do this because we like it. We do this because we are ambitious and we have targets and dreams.
I would like just to go back to Mr. Holmes and ask him his comments about the thing that we have said on the sexual harassment, the number of the people, the number of the women, how this can be balanced. His opinion, because there have been many.
Yeah. First of all, I want to tell you something. You know, if one of my captains would tell me that I don't want to have Tina or Irina or whoever on board, that is the last thing that the captain will tell me, because I will tell him only one more thing. Bye-bye. That should be company policy, basically. Eh? It should not be the right of the captain to say somebody is not welcome on board of my ship or his ship because of gender or diversity or inclusion, whatever kind of subjects. You know? So you should be very firm as a company on subjects like that. The problem here, of course, is that a lot of things do happen on board without even being noticed in the office, and that's where the real challenge is like. And it is by nature that a lot of it's seafaring nature that the seafarers, you know, they like to keep the things on board which happen on board, right? Yeah. But with some exceptions, yeah, there must be exceptions, and bullying and harassment is one of the exceptions. Because if you want to have, if as a seafarer you want your company to act or react on situations, well, first it has to be known, you know. So there has to be some way that the office is informed. And I'm pretty sure that nowadays most shipping companies will not tolerate harassments no more if they are reported. And they will take firm actions like I told before. I'm pretty sure of that. Still, it's happening. It becomes more complicated, of course, if for you as a captain, what is happening if you go to let's say, to a Middle East port? Do you encounter problems there? Yeah? Please.
Not exactly a problem. It is a funny thing. I was in Iraq on December. And, you know, usually the military coming on board to check our passports and give us the stamp of entry and the immigration. So I was the number 2 in the crew list because of I was the chief mate. So the guy who came on board, the military guy, he was wondering why I'm not last. Because usually in their culture, I'm supposed to be last, me and the cadet we had on board, because I'm a woman. Luckily, Captain told him, no, she's number 2, and if I now kaput, he said like this, meaning died, she has the command and she will be the number 1 and you dealing with her. And he goes, okay, you need to have the support also from your colleagues and your master and your chief engineer, but you need to gain it.
Just a point on this, how easy to communicate to the office something that is happening on board the vessel? This is something that is
there are procedures. They ask you, even when you're doing a briefing prior joining the ship, they tell you, if something happens, you can call the hotline, you can call the PA, you can call Captain Michaels or Captain Pagasi.
Like 24 hours phone.
Yeah.
So you can reach very easy.
And in any case that you cannot call or you are afraid, you can complete an MLC form and you make it official. There are other, let's say, one other cargo surveyor took my cigarettes and put it in 2 meters high because he didn't want me to smoke. And I was just jumping to reach my cigarettes, and I had 2 days awake for operation. And his way of behavior, we call the company, and he will never work again with them as a cargo expediter because he showed disrespect to captain. You cannot do this. So I think easy, step by step, the people are making the step forward to help, not to discriminate. But I gain that also in my company because it's an all Greek traditional company and you need to gain it, to gain the respect. And from your company, and from the company side, and from the ship side. That's my humble opinion.
Mr. Prodinor, would you like to comment something on this?
First of all, it's tough. Very tough to be on board alone as a woman.
And it's very tough to communicate something that it is happening. Yes. Okay, I understand the process, the procedures,
as my colleague mentioned before, Iran, Iraq, Nigeria, I don't like to just you're going to have a big problem. They didn't accept nothing. They didn't respect. We have to pay sometimes money in order to avoid any problem. Because they didn't recognize, okay, chief officer woman, what is that? Oh, chief engineer, or master. Because we have a master before, but okay, in most of the countries they respect the woman very well. But some other countries is completely, is she already have the example here? Anyhow, we have to work on this, and first of all, I believe that we have to start things from the academies.
Yes.
We have to educate the people, and then training from our companies, and of course, we need also the country with us in order to help.
Mr. Eugenides, would you like to comment something further on this?
So I want to repeat what I mentioned before. It's a question of holistic approach. It's a question of education. It's a question of training, mentoring, and leadership in a world which is changing. Unfortunately, it's not a question of only men and women. A question of harassment and bad behaviors have no sex in any kind of equality and rights of human beings. It's very difficult to separate theory and practice because we confront the situation. I want to believe that we're a very open-minded organization. It's very difficult, no matter how good you are, if you have the best people to say, in theory, yes, in practice, it's a difficult issue. Very difficult, because the microcosm of Western is a very tough one. From my point of view, I come back to the basic. Each one has to develop his ecosystem. If all the sub-ecosystems will develop to a greater, a more open-minded and resilient and accommodating ecosystem, that's the best of all of us. It's not a question that can be addressed only by bits and pieces. Yes, each one is like an American politician said, it's not what you do, America does for you, it's what you do for America. It is, and I don't want to disclose names. So, on the one hand, is the most important is what each one of us is trying to do to the best of his knowledge and his personality, be it a novice, be it a vessel, be it whatever. It's not only the question of loss and promotion. And then is education. Training is one thing, education is another.
Training. You said it many times during this panel. Training. Okay. Training, repetitive training, I assume. Repetitive training that it's happening to all. I mean, what type of training usually do you have in your mind, or do you think that it will be because these are fundamental trainings where you have somebody who is next to you. It's fundamental that you don't take his cigarettes, put them 2 meters away. These are too basic stuff.
It's as I said, I repeat to the word holistic. It starts from the kindergarten, the family, the house, your school, your cover, the boat, because also when you're on board, it's a long life training. It's a non-ending voyage, so it's like a chain. Each part has its own sense of responsibility, but it does not only take one at a time. For me, leadership is very important, because it's very important for the master, be it a man or a woman, to see his way according to the structure of the crew and the guidelines of the company, how to get that. But it is a step by step. It's not something we have to address it in words and practice. Education and ecosystem.
Now you mentioned about this. I would like just to ask the companies that they are having their ESG. I know Eugenides is having their ESG. We already said that diversity is a cornerstone of the S. The fact that you have the ESG did assist a little bit on the way that you are having this, or you have already the process and the procedures, and through ESG just take a form?
I think that the procedures were already in place. The idea was to create an ecosystem, create an ecosystem where people felt that the company cared for them, and that there was a relationship of trust, and where women seafarers knew that they could address their concerns and report something without risking either losing their job or being denied of further career opportunities. So I think this was in place. What we have seen from our perspective is that now that companies do have to provide the reports, companies who do not accept women seafarers or who do not have a diversified crew complement, because we discussed earlier race, religion, and other diversification areas, are being questioned by the other business partners. So it's becoming an issue of long discussions, and hopefully this will generate, it will be food for thought for other companies.
Mr. Alexandratos, would you like to comment something on this point, on the ESG program I'm referring to? It's a new norm, everybody is discussing about the ESG. Practically, we don't want one more manual to be on board with the SLO or at the company. We want something that it is serious and it demonstrates commitment. I don't know what your view on this.
I will tell you something. I think there are more experts to go in details and speak to the ESG, but of course we have to realize what is ESG and its true meaning. And I have to agree with everybody. They have honestly to congratulate for the selection of the panels, because everybody is giving additional and different information for that. And personally, I write down a lot of notes. So, from my role, from Greek Chamber of Shipping, as I don't want to override my role. First of all, as I told you before, among that quality panel, we have, as I told Mr. Euggenidis, who's apart from the president of Euggenidis Foundation, since May 2018, he's the IMO Goodwill Maritime Ambassador, representing Greece. And let me take the liberty, Mr. Euggenidis, in front of ladies, for once again to rename you the IMO Goodwill Gentleman, because you are a gentleman. And why I said that, I made this intro and this teaser for after I conclude my position, is that in 2021, apart from a lot of other developments that I would like for Mr. Euggenidis to share with us from IMO, the IMO Assembly adopted a resolution, okay, proclaiming the International Day of Women in Maritime Affairs on 18th of May each year. So that day celebrates, as we all know, women in the industry, and of course is intended to promote their recruitment, the retention and sustained employment of them in the maritime sector. And of course, raise the profile of women in maritime, and a lot to come. I think Mr. Euggenidis will have the facility to disclose with us. Now, I was attending as a speaker last week at a very nice conference organized by the University of Piraeus, related to soft and hard skills. And I think that when we listen to that important seminars, every day something we possibly learn. What I learned is that from 3 famous USA universities, I will not disclose because only I promote the Greek universities, but we all know that they have made a good research. 3 very famous USA universities, they made research to 500, yes, managers, not only in shipping, at top positions. And they resulted to the outcome that 75% in order to reach the top managed position was owed due to the soft skills of personality, and only 25% was for the hard skills. Now, ship and seafarer, yesterday I thought that, has a unique difference, and honestly I was trying to see if we are this is the sole category of jobs in that work, because, and I'm speaking for the ocean going vessels, not the ones that they just stay at the home port, wherever, and the seafarers sleep at their homes, coastal, yes, or shore sea. So when you are a seafarer at the ship simultaneously is your work, and at the same time, for a couple of months, is also your house. And is also your house that you have to be shared with people that you didn't choose. Find me one other job, honestly, if has this idiotita. It has that particular, Yeah, particularity, thank you. Thank you for that. That particularity. It's the only one. Why I say that? I said that because I think that apart from everything, training, definitely, eagerness, definitely, we have all organizations have to implement very strict and updated regulatory behavior framework, which should always be updated and to predict very and extreme high penalties for the offenders. Managers ashore, governmental states, officers on board must be provided with sufficient resources, usable tools, and adequate time to be able to work productively together and eliminate the factors, and I'm not speaking for genders, everybody can be on the ship, but eliminate those very disappointing experience we have with bullying, as I was referring to before, harassment at the workplace, and of course we all know that this unfortunately does not happen only to ships. Now, in order to conclude, I will conclude with a quote from Hesiodus. Hesiodus was a Greek Asian poet. Ποιητής. Σωστά το είπα. Ποιητής. Το βρήκα από τη Wikipedia. Αυτό. Δεν φταίω αν έκανε λάθος εκεί. Λέει λοιπόν, πρεσβειοποία. Μεν γάρ τη γυναικός άμυνον αγαθής. Sorry to say that in Greek. Δεν υπάρχει κάτι καλύτερο από την καλή γυναίκα. Nothing is better from a very nice and good lady, woman. Now, to conclude with a spirit of joke, I have realized that, and I'm very, very, very happy for that, like Mr. Eugenides, that women, through Wista, through of course all of the other organizations, they are proving very, very well. We have first lady president of the Union of Expo owners. We are very happy for that. We have first lady president Helmepa. We are very also happy for that. First lady president of Piraeus Marine Club. Very happy for that. We have about, I will tell you, 28% of the personnel ashore at the shipping companies being women. We are very, very happy for that. So, Mr. Eugenides and all other gentlemen, we are happy and we wish that rhythm to be continued, but I think that we shall possibly have to consider seriously, with a spirit of joke or seriousness, in the next years to establish also MISTA. Thank you.
Avoiding discrimination with women will end up discriminating men. Yes. This will end up, finally. Yes. Mr. Eugenides, with respect to the IMO, we know about the Goal 5. Is there any specific plan that IMO has on this? I mean, Mr. Alexandratos mentioned several items, mentioned about forced regulations, mentioned about more strict situations. What's IMO on this?
Well, IMO, it's the difficulty of IMO is that you have to find a global solution adapted practically all around the world. So I think we're on the right track. I think equal to IMO is the MLC 8th amendment, which is something more specific and actually taking place in Boston for 2024. I think that all the good steps and practices, they are taken in the legislative front. But I want to repeat once more, the most important thing is the ecosystem. You can have any kind of rules and enforcements. The most important thing is modalities and applications. And that has not to do with men, women, or sexual discrimination. This is a wider and more difficult issue. As far as ladies are concerned, I'm very optimistic and I want to end up with something which was very touching. We were up to 2 months ago reporting cabotage, I mean in passenger ferry business. And one of the reasons we withstand all these lack of support from the state and all the bad things they witnessed. It was the support of the passenger, but our crew. I mean, there is a particular video, it's not very maritime video, the way that the crew greeted and kissed the last call at the Cygnus Island when she dropped the anchor on the quay to kiss the island, caressed by the children, because it was their ship. Something which was very touching, that the pioneers of feeling sad that this time being was suspended was the ladies crew. In our speedrunner, 25% were ladies, and I would say they were the most attached to the vessel. So they were more men than men. So, not to talk about theories.
Thank you very much for your nice comments. I would like to touch one more point that Gina mentioned before, and invite also the club, if I say this correctly, to give us also her opinion. You mentioned about maternity. You mentioned that it is really difficult when you're on board to, of course, you have to take into consideration some possible precautions because you need to take the birth, so you have to. And then we see that a lot of women understand after this they stop their career. Is this correct?
I want to clear something. Not to get pregnant on board.
Let's make this clear. I was not referring.
For obvious reasons. Maternity. Usually, when you are a woman and you're going to apply to a company, they most probably tell you that you are an employee with expiration date. And you are wondering, I'm a milk or a yogurt when they have expiration date. They think that as long as you get a mother, that it is absolute duty of each woman here on board to become a mother. It's a destination for many women. Some others they are focused on the career, some others they want to become mothers. Both of them, they cannot be confused. If any woman wants to get pregnant and continue the seafaring career, has challenges. If you missed out 1 year from a ship, regulations are changing, especially now with the ESG strategies, the environmental and the new building requirements. And it's some more time to adapt again the seamanship habits. I mean, you need to review again the ISM to see what policies change, new forms that they release. So 1 year off the ship, it's a little bit difficult, but you can manage it. If you want to have the will, you can work. Okay. But I don't know how you can work the sense of leaving your kid. Because I'm not yet a mother, I'm sorry, and I don't know when I leave. But the mothers who are here, I don't know if they can leave their kids and go on board. Me, I think I could do it. If I have a good father.
But the fathers do that all the time.
Yeah,
So isn't
that was my question.
On its own, a discrimination.
Yeah, for
Exactly.
Sometimes you must sacrifice something.
Yeah.
May I say something? I think we see that it's a matter of the new generations, and we see this in boys as well, in men as well. They do need to be with their family more. In the past, when you were a captain, I'm sure you were away for a year at least, and you couldn't see your children. Nowadays, young boys do not want that, no more than women want that. So I think there are new times, and we have to really reinvent things, and I'm sure you have something to say on that. And also, being a mother, we do see again a lot of men leaving the profession and coming back after 10 years when they need money, actually, when they need to build a house, when they need to buy a car or something, and they adapt. It shouldn't be a problem for the ladies as well. It's just a matter of everybody accepting it, because it is perceptions, really. I mean, we know men after their 40s, at their 30s they wanted to go on land, have family, whatever, and at the 40s they want to build a house, so they go back to the sea, or whatever else they want to do.
The only thing that I'm echoing is what Gina said before, that indeed, not because I'm a mom, but indeed it's sometimes really difficult when you have a very young kid to just leave it. And it's not like myself that I leave from home, maybe I leave very early, but at least at night I will be there. So, no, I understand.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. That I want to add on.
Yes, yes, please.
Actually, within our company, we have the proven fact that you are not right. Because we have a captain from Germany, female captain, who has given birth, I think, 1.5 years ago, to a daughter. Today she's sailing. It's a matter of course, it's a matter of arrangement. It's a matter of the relationship, you know, with the husband. It demands sacrifices from both sides, but and also from our side, you know, because the rhythm of going to sea and being on shore, that you can play with that one as well. That also impacts, of course, income a little bit. But in the end of the day, it is doable. We have actual examples of people doing this. So there is no or, either way, you know, it can be done both.
Mr. Alexandratos,
just this very small note. Personally thinking, everybody, either is man or woman, can decide for his own. Maybe a lady doesn't want to leave the kids, or even a family. But what we have, everybody will decide separately. So what we have to do from our side is to prepare all the prerequisites, thank you very much, Babiniotis, prerequisites, the correct prerequisites, to welcome all females that they are ready to deliver that cost. That's it.
And also changing policies, because there are some companies that they have in their ISM that if you got pregnant and you fall and you give birth, you cannot join a ship for 5 years. Till the kid becomes 5 years old, because the kid needs the mother.
They have decided themselves.
Exactly. And my answer was, you will find also my husband or only the kid?
But you know, this approach also excludes that percentage of women who really don't want to have a family or children. And that's a reality of life. So why not allow them to pursue a career? Because as Mr. Alexandratos said, it's a matter of personal choices.
I think that everything can happen as long as there is.
And one more important thing, don't forget the sea has to go from the ship A, from the point A to point B. We don't care if the woman who is there chooses to continue sailing. She chooses because she likes it, or she has some economical issues maybe. But the moment that she's leaving the baby with, I don't know, and she's choosing to sail, she wants to sail. Or she's doing because she needs it, So in any case, she will do it correctly. So you need this workforce, in any case.
Να πω κάτι κεφαλονίτικο.
Yes, please. Like κεφαλονίτικα.
Λοιπόν, επειδή κοιτάξτε τώρα, θα το πω έξω από τη σύντηση. Επειδή δυστυχώς υπάρχουν και πάρα πολλά διαζύγια τελευταία, εμένα στην Κεφαλονιά η γιαγιά μου έλεγε, και επειδή το μπάρκο πια είναι 7 μήνες, έλεγε αλάργα το φιλί να έχει κοινοστιμάτα. Παίρνουν και μια ανάσα οι πατρεμένοι.
I would like to ask Tekla, if you want to give us your opinion, because what do you think? I mean, I know that maternity is a little bit far away from you, but how do you envisage that in your mind?
Right now I'm just a cadet, so
Very young.
3 years old. I have no blood to ring inside me. Now I see.
But if you don't know how you will react if you hear the clock ringing. Yes, okay.
Maria. Σήκω Μαρία.
Έλα Μαρία.
Today we invited.
Just let us also, I mean, Tekla, have you...
All I can say is I think that mothers have many strengths inside them. So why the part of the strength comes from the milk in the boat? Probably that's what the boat needs, strength. So why not?
Maria, but I don't know, can you please say a few things about yourself? Because
of course, I'm not so familiar here, so it's my honor to be invited here today and to be with you and to share my time and afternoon for this important subject, women at sea. So to introduce myself to you, my name is Maria Koyu. I'm a master, Captain Class A, as Captain G2. I spent my last 11 years of life, actually I focused on being on ships, on bulk carriers, on Greek company shippings and industry, and also in foreign companies on big cruise ships. So actually, most 80% of the time I was on carrier ships, bulk carriers, and 20% I was on cruise ships. It was my honor actually to be in a whole bridge woman team. So the whole bridge was actually only women, from the master to the chief officer to the second officer. And okay, we are speaking about discrimination. Of course, we are not discriminating against the men, so not getting on the opposite position. But it was just a festival. It was we were celebrating what we have women at sea, and it was a week cruise, and we had on board 6,000 persons who actually were so happy about this matter, about this subject. This is so important for our future. Because women in our society, during the years, we have changed our society. We need all the soldiers, all the power, everybody has to give something. So it doesn't matter about if he's a man, if he's a woman. It has to do with personality, of skills. It has to be trained and retrained. It has to be actually to be on stage. You're feeling you're all day on a stage because you are actually leading a ship, you're actually leading human resources. So you have to be there and give an example to everybody what is the right thing to do. And not the right thing to do as a woman, and not the right thing to do as a man, but the right thing to do as a human. So, as a professional. Because this two in combination, if you are a nice professional, a very good master, a very good chief mate, a very good whatever, and your professionalism, and you have a nice personality, and you're approachable, and you have everybody is trusting you and following you.
And positive attitude.
Yes, a positive attitude, of course, because you love what you do, you are what you do. Then it's the best combination to have a success in every industry. And most over in a so demanding industry, such like the shipping industry. So thank you very much.
I feel emotion between two masters.
I don't know whether we have any questions from the floor. We do have one. Yes, please.
Yes. It's another captain. Long time ago.
She opened a big discussion here about professionalism. This is the most important issue here. Professionalism is the most important issue. And we, you and Maria, are pioneers for women on shipping. You open the door, but Thebla has to follow.
Keep it open.
She must be very willing and very persistent in her profession. That is the only way to succeed, no matter the gender. Willing, professionalism, and precision. Thank you.
Any other statements from the people? Okay.
Εξαιρετικό moderation.
Ευχαριστώ. I would like just to say a few words before we close. I mean, that's the typical things. I make all this discussion about women at sea. I like very much the subject, but at the end of the day, it's common sense. It's nothing more. It's not rocket science. We need to behave as we behave in our normal lives. No matter if a ship, no matter if it is an office, no matter if it is a school, we need to behave the same way. So if we just is taken into consideration seriously and put it inside, there is no difference on this. This is something that it starts being, I mean, okay, the figures are low. I'm not saying that they are very high, are low, but what Mr. Alexandratos said is that the figures have been improved, and this is how we want to continue. Thank you very much for the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria. Really, I think Maria did a great job, and you gentlemen and ladies, and I said gentlemen before on purpose, and ladies, thank you so much for giving us the time and discussing this subject. Thank you to everybody who was here. Thank you to ABS again for the support. Really thank you, and hope to see you afterwards. Can you say where?
Please, 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 you need to come to our booth, which is at the 3rd hall, 3.101. Yes, just when you decide you will sit, to have our drinks. Please, we are waiting for you.